In 2026, a new premium crossover can easily cost more than £40,000. And once the warranty ends, complicated emission systems, electronic dashboards, and tightly packaged turbo engines can turn a fashionable SUV into an expensive workshop visitor. But the UK used market still hides a different kind of vehicle: older SUVs with proven engines, proper four-wheel drive hardware, and far less concern for image. They are not maintenance-free, and buying the wrong version can still hurt. But choose carefully, check the history, and inspect the known weak points, and these 5 overlooked SUVs can make far more sense than signing up for years of new car payments. We are counting down from a heavy-duty tow vehicle to a surprisingly affordable luxury SUV. Number 5, the KGM Rexton, better known to many buyers by its former SsangYong badge. The badge is one reason people walk past it. The shape is sensible rather than fashionable, and many buyers head straight towards a used Land Rover, BMW, or Audi instead. That is exactly why the Rexton can represent so much metal for the money. Focus on the second-generation G4 model, introduced in 2017. It is a full-size 7-seater built around a tough ladder frame chassis, with selectable four-wheel drive, a low-range setting, and a braked towing capacity of up to 3.5 tons. For caravans, horseboxes, and heavy trailers, that puts it in a completely different class from the average family crossover. Early G4 automatics also used a Mercedes-Benz 7-speed transmission. That does not make the vehicle indestructible, but it does give the Rexton a well-proven gearbox when it has been serviced properly. Depending on mileage, trim, and condition, used examples can sit around the £9,000 to £14,000 mark. That is a large amount of capable SUV for the price of a small hatchback. But do not buy one purely because it looks cheap. Check for evidence of regular gearbox servicing. Inspect underneath for corrosion. Look carefully for coolant leaks. And make sure the four-wheel drive system engages correctly. Also confirm the exact warranty position rather than trusting an advert. Many early examples are now too old to have meaningful manufacturer cover remaining. The Rexton makes the most sense for someone who genuinely needs space, towing ability, and rough road strength. If you only drive short urban journeys, its size and diesel running costs will be harder to justify. But as a working SUV, it is one of the most ignored bargains in Britain. Number 4, the Suzuki Grand Vitara, built from 2005 to 2014. At first glance, it looks like another small crossover from the early 2000s. Underneath, it is much more serious. Many 5-door versions have a proper selectable four-wheel drive system with a low-range mode, giving the Grand Vitara real ability on muddy tracks, steep ground, and poor winter roads. The safest long-term choice is usually the later 2.4-litre petrol, especially for buyers who cover modest annual mileage. It is not economical, but it avoids much of the age-related diesel emissions equipment that can turn a cheap purchase into an expensive mistake. The 1.9 DDIS diesel looks attractive because it uses less fuel, but by now condition matters more than the promise of better miles per gallon. A neglected diesel can bring DPF, EGR, turbo, and cooling system problems, particularly if it has spent years doing short journeys. Prices vary enormously. Rough older examples can begin near £2,000, while clean late 2.4 petrol cars may still command £6,000 or £7,000. That is a sign that knowledgeable buyers have already noticed which version is worth owning. Before buying, check the rear arches, sills, and underbody carefully for rust. Test every four-wheel drive mode. Listen for drivetrain noises. And make sure the service history matches the mileage. The cabin will feel dated, and the petrol engine will visit filling stations regularly, but the Grand Vitara offers genuine four-wheel drive engineering for less than many two-wheel drive crossovers. Number 3, the second-generation Honda CR-V, sold from 2001 to 2006. This is not the choice for extreme towing or serious off-roading. It earns its place by doing ordinary family transport with remarkably little drama. The version to look for is the 2-litre iVTEC petrol. Honda's all-aluminium engine produces around 150 horsepower, uses a timing chain rather than a scheduled cam belt, and has a strong reputation when oil changes have not been ignored. That last detail matters because many old buying guides incorrectly describe this engine as needing a cam belt replacement. The CR-V also uses Honda's real-time four-wheel drive system. In normal driving, it behaves like a road-focused family car, then sends drive to the rear when the front wheels begin to lose grip. It is simple to use, and better suited to British rain, muddy parking areas, and light rural use than to rock crawling. Current asking prices can start close to £1,200, with cleaner petrol examples commonly sitting between roughly £2,000 and £4,000. At that price, the condition of the individual car matters far more than the badge on the bonnet. Look for clean oil, a quiet timing chain, smooth clutch operation, and evidence that the rear differential fluid has been maintained. Check the air conditioning, suspension bushes, wheel bearings, and corrosion underneath. A good 2-litre petrol can tow around 1,500 kilograms, depending on the exact specification, but this is primarily an easy, practical family SUV. It is old, plain, and completely uninterested in impressing the neighbors. That is exactly why it can still be such a sensible buy. Number 2, the Mitsubishi Shogun. The Shogun built its reputation long before soft crossovers took over British roads. Its Super Select four-wheel drive system allows the driver to choose between rear-wheel drive and several four-wheel drive settings, giving it genuine flexibility on tarmac, snow, mud, and towing duties. Long-wheelbase versions can tow heavy caravans and trailers, with some later models rated up to 3.5 tons. The cabin is spacious, the visibility is excellent, and the mechanical layout was designed for hard use rather than fashion. Used prices stretch from around £2,000 for tired early examples, to well over £15,000 for clean late vehicles. That wide range tells you everything. A cheap Shogun can either be a bargain, or a neglected money pit. Corrosion is the first major concern. Inspect the chassis structure, rear crossmember, suspension mounting areas, side steps, and fuel filler region. Do not accept a quick glance from above. This vehicle needs to be examined properly underneath. On diesels, look for clean starting, steady idle, healthy cooling, smooth transmission behavior, and proof of regular servicing. Manual cars can develop clutch and flywheel issues, while any automatic should change gear cleanly, without delay or harshness. Tires, brakes, road tax, and fuel will all cost more than they do on a modern compact SUV. The Shogun is not the cheapest vehicle here to run, and it is not the best choice for city commuting. But for buyers who need an old-school workhorse, its combination of towing strength, four-wheel drive hardware, and long-distance durability remains difficult to replace. Number 1, the Lexus RX 300 and RX 400h. This is where the list changes character. The Lexus is not a farm tool or an off-road specialist. It is a quiet, comfortable luxury SUV that can now cost less than an ordinary used hatchback. The petrol RX 300 uses a smooth V6 engine, and avoids the DPF problems associated with old diesels. The later RX 400h combines a 3.3-litre V6 with electric motors, giving stronger urban efficiency and very smooth low-speed driving. Used RX 300s commonly appear from roughly £2,500 to £5,000. RX 400h examples often begin below £3,000 and rise towards £5,000 or £6,000 for cleaner cars. That is remarkable value when you consider the quality of the cabin and the original price of these vehicles. For drivers near London, the hybrid has another advantage. Lexus states that its petrol and petrol hybrid models produced from January 2006 meet ULEZ requirements, although every buyer should still check the exact registration before paying. There are important risks. Both the RX 300 and RX 400h use V6 engines where timing belt history matters, so demand invoices rather than accepting a seller's promise. Check for coolant leaks and confirm that the automatic or hybrid transmission behaves smoothly. With the RX 400h, the hybrid battery should not be treated as immortal. Many last extremely well, but age matters, and replacement is not cheap. A specialist health check is worth paying for. Also remember that this is still a heavy luxury SUV. Tires, brakes, and suspension parts are not priced like those of a Super Mini. Buy the right example, though, and the RX delivers something none of the other vehicles on this list can match. Relaxed luxury, petrol reliability, useful urban compliance, and a purchase price that looks almost absurd beside a new premium crossover. These 5 SUVs prove that a fashionable badge and a large monthly payment do not guarantee durability. But cheap does not guarantee it either. The best buy is not simply the lowest priced advert. It is the correct engine, the correct version, and the vehicle with the strongest maintenance history. Inspect underneath. Verify the paperwork. And leave money aside for age-related repairs. Do that, and an ignored used SUV may keep working long after a much newer vehicle has started demanding expensive attention. Which one would you trust with your own money?